Blacks own nothing in a city where they're the majority population. I got 1 million black folk in Detroit that owns nothing. Now, what's the impact of that? That's why in the 2000 census, the United States government declared Detroit to be the poorest city in the United States with the highest crime rate. And everybody's sitting back in the black leadership saying, oh, why are we so poor? You're poor because you're stuck on stupid. There is a direct relationship in this country between how many businesses you own and how poor you're going to be as a group.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to my YouTube space. There is this professor. He's talking with black Americans, talking about black Americans. But I get the idea is for all black people. Now, he's saying that black people or black Americans are in deep danger or deeper problem. And the main reason is because black people do not own businesses, or black Americans do not own businesses. They are only working or a job, and this job cannot make them rich. And it's the reason why we still have racial wealth gap between black people and other races. He's talking about the Asians being they have prospered, white people, other communities, but black people were still behind. Now, I just want you to watch this video, and then after watching it, we'll come back again here and talk about some things. We see if we can, because it is touching me too as a black person, and it's touching a lot of Africans. Watch this one.
Arabs own not only the gas stations, they own the grocery stores, party stores, liquor stores. Koreans in Detroit, they own the barbecue restaurants, the nail shops, the wig shops, the hair products, distributorships. The East Indians in Detroit, they own the rest of the businesses. They own the Dunkin' and Donuts, cheap motels, the check cashing services. Blacks own nothing in a city where they're the majority population. I got 1 million black folk in Detroit that owns nothing. Now, what's the impact of that? That's why in the 2000 census, the United States government declared Detroit to be the poorest city in the United States with the highest crime rate. And everybody's sitting back in the black leadership saying, oh, why are we so poor? You're poor because you're stuck on stupid. There is a direct relationship in this country between how many businesses you own and how poor you're going to be as a group. Those groups that have no businesses are going to be poor and imprisoned. It is not the government's responsibility to help you do anything. The government responsibility and the police department's responsibility is to put you in jail and keep you out of the way. When you have a Katrina situation, which on one of my videos, I started talking about Katrina 7 to 8 years before it even happened. When you have a Katrina situation, which on one of my videos, I started talking about Katrina 7 to 8 years before it even happened. That must be almost 10 years before that was what happened to Katrina. They got me crying on the video and they wouldn't take it out. But the video telling me what's going to happen in that city because the poverty rate was so high, 82% poverty rate in New Orleans before Katrina even hit. And nobody was concerned and understand that if you don't have any businesses, you're going to be poor. The reason black people are the poorest people in the United States is because we don't own businesses. Now watch this now. In this country, in America, the group with the highest income in America today are Asians. The median family income for an Asian in America is $55,000 for a median family income. Y'all follow this along, so when long after I've left you this evening, you'll never forget this as long as you live. The median family income from an Asian is the highest in the United States of any other group, $55,000. Underneath them are whites. The median family income from a white person is about $53,000 to $54,000. The median family income for these Hispanics that you're also worried about and getting them into the country are over blacks. They're at $32,000 and $33,000. The median family income for black people is $19,400. Now, why are black folk on the bottom in income? Here it is now. Asians got a $55,000 income, median family income over here. Here's why they got that income. 1 out of every 10 Asians are in business. Again, $55,000 income, they're at the top. 1 out of 10 are in business. Let's go down to the next level. You got whites now over here. Whites at $53,000 to $54,000 income in that general range. They got 1 out of every 34 in business. Hispanics, got 1 out of 54 in business. Black folk at the bottom with 1 out of 104. If you don't have any businesses, you're going out of existence. Why is that now? It's because all you're doing is working for a living. We're the only people that encourage our children to go off and get a good education and go get a good job. No other group of people tell their children that. No other group is that silly to tell their children, go off and get a good education and then go get yourself a good job working in a white company someplace. Everybody else tells their kids something different, and I'll explain to you with Chinese a little later. We're the only people that don't encourage our children to start businesses. If you go put your child into a job, or if you're working a job, you got to understand the purpose of a job. The purpose of a job is not to enrich you. You cannot get rich working a job. The only way you can get rich working a job is if you're good at stealing. A job is designed to maintain you. A job is designed to keep you one way from the welfare line, unemployment, and food stamps. You work a job until you get too old and they retire you, and you got to go out and beg on the streets. You might get lucky to give you a silver watch. A business will redistribute wealth and power to you 8 times faster. If you have a business, you can also get a salary, but you can also get capital gains. You can also get depreciation. You can get appreciation. You got all kind of tax loopholes. You can write off all kind of things on your business against your businesses. You can do all kind of things. The system is set up where those who don't have businesses pay all the taxes. Winn-Dixie had about 500 stores one year when I was over education in the state of Florida. I looked at the record. They had about 526 stores in the United States. Winn-Dixie, like Safeway, 126 stores. And I think one year they only paid $9 in taxes. They got all kinds of loopholes, flip back, take backs, and everything else to make sure they don't pay any taxes. You work at a job, you got nothing you can write off except your interest payment on your house and your taxes on your house. That's it. The rest of your money is going to take care of the rest of this country. And we're the only people who have no businesses. Black folk are paying more than their share of taxes because we are so silly we won't start businesses. Now, let me go to another issue. If you start businesses, what must you do? How do you start those businesses? I put all that in Powernomics. Start businesses at this late gate. It's too late for you just to simply go into a business. It is too late to simply go into a business randomly say, well, I'm going to start a business. I don't see any flower shops on the street, so I'm going to start a flower shop. It ain't going to cut it. Now, at this point, the door is almost closed on us in this country. If you're going to go into a business, you must go into a business where you have a competitive advantage. You must be able to tell me or somebody, the reason I'm going into this business is because I have a competitive advantage over my competitors. And I'll ask you, what are your competitive advantages? You must build your business around 2 things. Wherever your people dominate in population, or wherever your people dominate in spending patterns. That's how you go into business. And if you unify yourselves, you got a chance. If you don't, you're through. Now you hear people talking about, Dr. we should go into business because we got a $700 billion annual disposable income. You're right. They said we're the 9th richest nation on earth. You're right. Black people in America's annual disposable income is higher than Sweden, Pakistan, India, North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, and all the African countries put together. But we are the poorest people in the country because we do not practice group economics. Everybody on earth practices group economics but us. Again, Powernomics talks about all this stuff. So did black labor, white wealth. Everybody practices group economics but us. Now, what is group economics? Group economics means you must learn how to pool your resources in a vertical way and buy from your own people, up and down a chain. Just that simple. It says nothing, you don't have to love all black folk, you don't have to be kissing on them and hugging on them, but you should support them and buy from them. We won't do it. Now in group economics, the rule is this. Your money is supposed to bounce 8 to 12 times before it leaves your hands. It's supposed to bounce 8 to 12 times before it leaves your hands, or leaves your race. That means that if you got $1 in your pocket right now, that dollar should go to another black person and another black person, 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 till it passes through 8 to 12 times before it leaves and go to a non-black hand. In America, Hispanic money bounces 6 to 7 times. Hispanics in America right now that you're all competing with, they spend their money to their own people 6 to 7 times before it leaves a Hispanic hand. White money bounces 8 to 12 times. Arab and Asian money bounces 13 to 14 times. Jewish money bounces 18 times. Black money doesn't bounce once. As soon as a black person gets paid, he'll run over you trying to get to a non-black business to spend it. As soon as he is. Right now, if you're out the street, every black dollar right now in Baltimore is going into a non-black hand right now. They're committing suicide. Every time you fail to spend your money with your own people, not only have you failed to practice group economics, but you flush $11 down the toilet. When you leave here right now and you go out there and you stop at a gas station and you buy a dollar's worth of gasoline, which is about a thimbleful about like that. You buy a dollar's worth of gasoline, you just threw $11 down the toilet. It didn't go to a black hand. Anytime you put your money in another group's hands, you're aiding them in wiping you out. If you're going to practice group economics.
Welcome back. The idea of black people, black Americans not owning anything generally is a misconception, or again is a reality. It has a point, and this point is because of the larger historical issues related to inequalities, wealth disparities, and racial discrimination. And that's why up to now, black Americans or black people, they are very few of them, they own businesses maybe in America, because during the history, black Americans were segregated, or black people, they were discriminated. They were not allowed to own anything. They were slaves. And yes, I understand. I get it that you cannot be rich just from the jobs you are doing, from 6 to 6 job. You cannot be rich with that. You can't. You can never, unless you steal. But you can make a U-turn. This idea of just get education and read and the American dream is great is not working anymore. The American dream, or the dream of getting rich from white collar jobs, is not working anymore. We have some things that we need to do as black people. But before we deep down in the things that we need to do as black people so that we can prosper and we can reduce that gap between other race or racial wealth gap. Let's see why it's being said that black people or black Americans don't own businesses. Number one is because of the historical context. Now, slavery played a bigger role in ruining lives of the black people. Black Americans were denied the ability to own land, businesses for centuries due to slavery. After the Civil War and the end of slavery, the federal government promised 40 acres and a mule to formerly enslaved people, but these promises were never fully released or realized. Now it has been generation after generation. We still have that gap because we are fighting to fill the gap. We are fighting to own our own lands without being given. We are fighting, and it is very expensive to own our land. It's very, very, very expensive. That's why it's very hard for us as black people, or very hard for black Americans to fill that gap. Now, economic disadvantages has too played a bigger role in black people not owning businesses, or not being that rich. In the 20th century, black Americans were often denied mortgages and loans to buy properties because of redlining, where banks and insurers will not offer services in black neighborhoods. This made it harder for many black families to accumulate wealth through home ownership. And this was done intentionally, as if you ask me, because they knew if they could own properties, they could own land, they could give them loans and mortgages to own lands and buy properties. White people could not be supreme, because them and the black people could be competing in the wealthness, competing in the society, and that's what they did not want. For one race to be supreme, other race has to go through a lot. For one race to be supreme, or for one to be a leader, other one should submit. So they made this intentionally to make sure that black people will submit to them always. So as far as I think that black people need to wake up and turn around, but the hindrance in the society is a lot, okay? They are getting a lot of obstacles on the way of becoming rich. They are getting a lot of obstacles on the way of filling the wealth gap. So it is hard for black people. And it is very true that black people are in a bigger problem or in danger. Because if it continues like this, we will go on generation after generation, and everything we are fighting for as black people, we can never achieve it. It's only when you become powerful, it's only when you get power, it's only when you get to that seat as a leader you can control. But if we are still tails, if you are still following people behind, we can never succeed as black community. So we need to find way to come forward and achieve all this. I know you all know all the problems that has made black people not to own properties. We have a lot of things on the line. We have systematic racism has played a bigger role. We have cultural and social impact has played a bigger role. We have access to capital. It has played a bigger role in making black people to continue to be poor. Of course, we have a lot of rich black folks. We have a lot of rich black Americans, very rich black Americans. But still, we have not reached the bar of saying that now black people are in control of the economy. Asians are out here. Chinese are helping Africans. Chinese is helping Kenya. Chinese is helping Ghana. Chinese everywhere in Africa. The Asians are helping Africans a lot. Simply because us as Africans and black people, we have not realized ourselves and make ourselves a fortune so that even us, we can help other people. Imagine Africans or South African being called to help a country like Vietnam or to help America or to help Russia because we are capable. Why are we not on that level? We are not on that level because we lack skills development. We do not have skills. Like skills and educations to run this business, gaining knowledge about business operation, financial managing, marketing, and leadership is essential. More so to Africans. I'm not talking about black Americans on this. Black Americans have skills. And that's why they have been able to build America, to build UK and a lot of these empires. But a lot of Africans, we are reading just to get the white collar jobs. If I'm a lawyer, I'll be a teacher. But we cannot make simple things like just a razor blade, a matchbox. It's hard for us. We are getting everything from China as Africans. So it is eating us up. Okay? So another thing is building connection with other entrepreneurs, particularly in your industry, can open doors to opportunities and collaboration. Attend networking events as black people. This is things that we need to do as black people so that we can own businesses out here. We have to start small and build gradually and support each other, because when a black person has a business, you may find another black person not supporting the business. Okay? We are weak in starting businesses. We don't want to start something. We don't want to start modeling. For example, here in Africa, we have delivery companies. It's not for black person. As PLO Lumumba say, you want to go somewhere, you are using Bolt. Is I think French or German company. You want to order something, you're ordering from Kentucky. Is a US something. You are, you want to, gosh, you are going to fill your car. Total is French. Rubia, not African. So we do not own businesses. It is reality. It is true. And we are in the verge of losing, or we will stay slaves for so long time if we do not own anything. That's for sure. I see it in Africa here. I see here in Kenya. You use Bolt, Germany. Your car, it's a Germany. You fuel your car in French company. You go eat in a American company. Everything that you do, it is not of your own. The spoon you are using, Chinese. The tissue you are using, Asia. Oh, God damn it. You know what I'm saying? So it is true. It is true that we are in the verge of problems. We have deeper problems if we don't realize ourselves and start businesses. We cannot reduce racial wealth gap by just working for them. If you work for them, no matter how many hours you work, you cannot surpass your master. You cannot be richer than your boss. No matter how hard you work, no matter how long hours you work, he will always pay you to continue being the servant. Some of the things happening is that they cannot allow any black person to own these things or to build something or even to have, to invent some things, because we have had good inventors, black inventors all over the world or for a long time, but they are not appreciated as much as black or white inventors are appreciated. So black people, is high time. We need to realize ourselves. Yeah, we need to realize ourselves. We need to develop a financial plan for our businesses. These issues of black people starting business at the end of the 1 year, the business is no more. It's because we did not have plan. Maybe you are planning to open a business somewhere that the business cannot work. We have a lot of things that we need to work on as black people so that we can own these businesses. And the only thing or the only place we can get wealth is by having businesses. That's the truth. Starting some things, using our skills. So we need to get skills. Now, I see when in Africa, for example, we have souls that they can invent something. Maybe you get a boy or a man trying to build a car from scratch. They are not, or they are taken away. The reason why they are taken away is to make sure that we as African people, we will never have another invention. Black people, we will never thrive. So they are, using each and every means to make sure they are suppressing us. And that's the thing we need to understand. We need to put leaders who they want to see Africans or black people thriving. This thing is not about black Americans alone. It's everyone. Every black person, every black people. We are not slaves. We will not live working for people alone. You see, in Kenya, instead of helping youths to get, to open businesses, they are helping youths to go to work in Asia, to go to work in Dubai, go to work in Qatar. A 35 years old woman going to work for an Arab. That's what they are pushing for, agenda every time. And with that mindset, we will never, ever get past other races. We will just be tails and just be servants and be slaves all the time. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Until next episode, peace out.